Welcome back to the Western Frontier, historians. Today, imagine you're a late 19th century cattle rancher in Colorado, leaving factory life to start over out west. On a sprawling ranch, far from the nearest town, you spend long days under the scorching sun, driving cattle, mending fences, and protecting your herd from rustlers and predators. During a sudden stampede, triggered by a clap of thunder, you kick your horse into a gallop, racing alongside the panicked cattle, trying to regain control before they reach a dangerous cliff. Heart pounding in your chest, you narrowly avert disaster, guiding the herd back to safety. That night, sitting by a fire under a vast starry sky, you're reminded of the crushing challenges of this new life. Yet, despite the hardships, you're driven by the dream of a better future and the opportunities this land offers. Historians, today we'll explore the factors that drove people out west, the industries that developed there, and the hardships faced by settlers in the region. Your learning objectives are to explain how government policies promoted Western settlement, describe the ranching, mining, and farming industries that emerged in the West, describe the challenges faced by Western settlers, and analyze examples of resilience and adaptation demonstrated by Western settlers. The late 19th century US government had a grand vision for the country to promote Western expansion and settlement, creating a prosperous and thriving nation from sea to shining sea. And to make this dream a reality, it enacted several policies to encourage people to venture out west, stake a claim on the land, and build new lives. The cornerstone of these policies, the Homestead Act of 1862, allowed settlers to buy 160 acres of land at a low price if they lived on and farmed the land for 5 years. This act inspired many people who had always dreamed of owning their own land but could never afford it back east. When the Johnson family heard about the Homestead Act, they eagerly packed up their belongings, determined to make the most of the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The government enacted other laws with similar goals, providing land to build agricultural colleges, cultivate timber, extract precious minerals, and irrigate for farming. These policies aimed to create thriving communities out west, promoting industry and education. Let's take a moment to reflect. How did policies like the Homestead Act encourage people to move and settle out west? The region experienced a rush of migration throughout the 1860s, 70s, and 80s as settlers were enticed by low prices for the land. These policies allowed people from all walks of life, from European immigrants to poor city dwellers to formerly enslaved families, to start anew in a land filled with promise. After homesteaders made basic improvements to the land, potential work quickly grew in workers and entrepreneurs as well, leading to fast growth and progress in the Western economy. The influx of settlers jump-started the growth of key industries including ranching, mining, farming, and railroads. Vast stretches of open range provided ample land for cattle grazing. Ranchers worked long days under the hot sun, managing their herds and driving them across the plains to market. Their efforts helped the growth of the meatpacking industry in Midwestern cities. Settlers hoping to find mineral deposits like gold, silver, and copper drove the growth of mining and boom towns, or towns which sprang up seemingly overnight near valuable mineral deposits, and vanished just as quickly when mines ran dry. And with more people, demand for food increased, which made farming essential to the Western economy. Homesteaders provided wheat, corn, fruit, and livestock. How do you think these industries, ranching, mining, and farming in particular, connect to the government policies like the Homestead Act that we discussed earlier. In many cases, as with the Homestead Act, the government required settlers to engage in these activities to claim land for a low price. So why did the government do that? Well, around these industries, communities developed. Farmers, miners, and ranchers needed things from tools and supplies to hospitals and entertainment. By encouraging these industries, the government helped to create a foundation for the growth of self-sustaining communities, like San Francisco, attracting more settlement and investment into the region. As these communities expanded, they provided the infrastructure and workforce necessary to support the development of other industries like railroads, which further connected the West with the rest of the nation. This growth had a positive impact on the entire country, creating new markets and opportunities for businesses in the East as well. In this way, the policies promoted growth and prosperity in all regions of the United States. Settlers in the West were met with a variety of challenges that tested their determination and resilience. Ranchers had to adapt to the vast open range and learn how to manage their herds over great distances. Dealing with natural disasters such as droughts and floods and predators like wolves and coyotes were constant challenges. And ranchers had to be on guard against cattle rustlers or bandits looking to steal their valuable livestock. Miners encountered their own set of difficulties. Many mining towns were located in remote areas, which meant long, treacherous journeys to reach them. Once there, miners worked long hours, facing the risk of cave-ins, gas leaks, and accidents with explosives. The majority of miners barely made enough money to survive, let alone prosper. For farmers, the arid climate and limited water supply of the West made growing crops difficult. They had to contend with unpredictable weather, pests like grasshoppers and locusts, and the backbreaking work of clearing uncultivated land. How do you think these challenges shaped the mindset and character of those who ventured west? These obstacles demanded determination, adaptability, and perseverance from those who sought to make a living in this harsh yet promising new frontier. Now, despite the challenges out west, settlers overcame obstacles and made the most of their circumstances. Ranchers developed new techniques for rounding up cattle, such as the long drive, where cowboys would lead cattle across hundreds of miles to reach railroads for transport to distant meat markets. They also learned to work together, forming cattlemen's associations, which helped them collectively address issues like cattle theft and predator control. Miners adapted to the difficult conditions of their surroundings by developing new techniques and equipment to make the most of the limited resources. Many miners, knowing they could make very little, adapted by taking up other trades within the mining community. They became shopkeepers, blacksmiths, or other service providers, using their skills to support boom towns and contribute to the development of the West. Can you think of a way that farmers might have adapted to the arid Western climate? Farmers developed innovative irrigation methods to water their crops, such as the use of windmills, which harnessed the wind to pump water from underground sources. And reservoirs stored that water, allowing them to hydrate their crops in a region where it was scarce. They also embraced new techniques like dryland farming, which involved planting drought-resistant crops like wheat and corn, and conservation practices to preserve soil moisture. In the face of adversity, Western settlers displayed incredible determination and resourcefulness, finding new ways to overcome obstacles and make the most of their opportunities. Their efforts shaped the West into a thriving region, contributing to the growth and prosperity of the entire nation. In this lesson, we explored the late 19th century policies that fueled Western expansion and the development of industries like ranching, mining, and farming. These policies not only shaped the lives of settlers like the Johnsons, but laid the foundation for the growth of the Western economy. As we've seen, settlers demonstrated resilience and resourcefulness, overcoming many challenges to build new lives and communities. How can you learn from them to face challenges in your own life? And how can our society learn from the past to build stronger communities and strive for a better future? In our next lesson, we'll be taking a look at the impact that Americans moving west had on Native American populations that inhabited the land. Until then, historians, remember, shaping the future begins with understanding the past.
Hey, hey.